Hi there, thanks for joining me. So today I'm going to do another pickups video. I've been going nuts, buying video games and some other things. We're still in the middle of a pandemic, but I am fully vaccinated now, so it's springtime, summertime now, really, end of spring, early summer, and I am just going a little overboard because I feel like I can put a mask on, go into a store, do some of like the game hunting and thrift store going and things like that that I used to do. So in addition to that, PlayStation 4 games in particular are probably the cheapest and most available they're ever going to be. So I've been panic buying, honestly, a little bit of stuff here. So let's talk about what I have. For starters, I did hit some thrift stores and things like that. I picked up a couple of films. I like sharing these with you guys. I grabbed THX 1138. This is not something I've seen before. This is, as far as I know, George Lucas's directorial debut. It's some kind of science fiction thing. I've always kind of wanted to check it out, so this is my excuse to just sit down and watch this at some point. If I don't like it, it was only a few bucks, I'm going to take it back to a thrift store. No harm in picking that up. Next, I have Life is Beautiful. So I have really been enjoying watching folks react to films on YouTube. Something that has become popular recently, I feel like, is, especially people who are 10, 15 years younger than me, reacting to films that they haven't seen, and especially if it's people who, know about films and stuff like that. It tends to be stuff that was just a little before their time, right? So it tends to be this kind of movie from the 90s. And I was sort of a wannabe, film buff back then, so I saw a lot of interesting things. This I watched in the theater. I really enjoyed it. I specifically am mentioning that because I saw somebody react to Schindler's List recently, and I was like, that was a great movie. And I kind of wanted to recommend that they check this out, and it got me thinking of it. So when I was at a store and I saw this, I was like, you know what? Let me just grab that for myself. I'd like to rewatch it. It's a very good movie. Next up, same kind of thing. Certainly not same kind of film, but some people are watching like Robert Rodriguez stuff, Sin City and things like that, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. And I always really liked El Mariachi. I had seen this back in the day. Really enjoyed it, and I'm like, I guess I didn't enjoy it enough to pick it up because I don't have this on DVD. So when I saw this, at a used DVD place, I was like, let me grab that. El Mariachi is really good. If you guys haven't seen it, I definitely recommend it. This did have a remake, I believe, called Desperado. May have had, a sequel, something like that, I don't know. I also picked up Blade. Now, people who have been watching my pickups videos for a long time, correct me if I'm wrong, I thought I bought some sort of pack of Blade, like it had like the 3 movies in it, something like that. I can't find it. I wanted to watch Blade the other day. I don't, as far as I can tell, I don't have it, so I went ahead and picked this up. It's fun. I like Blade. They're pretty good. And, you'll notice a theme start to happen here. I realized at this one place when I walked up to the counter, I'd gotten a bunch of superhero stuff. You've got Blade, we've got Deadpool. I picked this up on Blu-ray. I love this movie. It was super fun. Colossus is great in this. I like Colossus from the X-Men comics. I guess I'm something of a superhero fan. So anyway, I definitely wanted to get this on Blu-ray. I'd like to grab the sequel too. I think that'd be really fun. So this same place that I went to, separate from Goodwill, it's a little mom and pop shop, and they take in used like movies, games, media, video game systems, all that stuff. It's a really fun place to browse through. They have a big chunk of Xbox games, OG Xbox games, and I used to have a huge collection. I had actually a really impressive original Xbox collection, which for some reason when the 360 came out, I decided to sell the whole thing. Not entirely sure why, except that I do think I collected that more as a collection, I think, than something that I really had a lot of attachment to. So even now, I don't actually miss that Xbox collection that much. I do have an Xbox, however. I would kind of like to service it like I've just serviced my PlayStation 4. And because I was thinking about it while I was there, I was like, let me pick up a few of these Xbox games. I got Reckless, the Yakuza missions. You guys may remember I actually picked this up a little while ago, also for the PlayStation 2. When I sat down and thought about it, I realized I was like, you know what? We didn't play this on the PlayStation 2. We played it on the Xbox. And the Xbox, if you'll remember, it's actually a little better hardware in some ways than the PlayStation 2. And if I remember correctly, this ran a little bit better on it, looked a little bit nicer, and I was like, you know, I just enjoyed this game so much, I wanted to grab it for the Xbox. I may get rid of my PlayStation 2 copy. We'll have to see, but I don't mind having 2 copies of it. It's a fun game. Keeping with that superhero theme, I picked up X-Men Legends. I really enjoyed this series, and I kind of regret having ever gotten rid of the X-Men Legends games. If you guys aren't familiar with these, if you're familiar with the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games, it's the same kind of gameplay. These were the predecessors to that. It's, I want to say maybe like a Diablo-style action RPG game, but it's all Marvel stuff, and it's actually quite a bit of fun. So I grabbed that. They had X-Men Legends 2. I feel like that was kind of a no-brainer. That pushed me over the edge. They had both of them, so now I've got X-Men Legends 1 and 2. Actually, I'd like to play through these again. They're really cool. And finally, for Xbox games, I grabbed Phantom Crash. This is something that I don't know a ton about. I think the main thing that stuck out about this to me is that it is developed by Genki. Mostly it just seemed like a fairly well-regarded, maybe underrated mech combat game. And sometimes those are a lot of fun, right? Like, I really enjoy Armored Core, right? Maybe not all of them, but some of them, especially just building the mechs and the parts and, you know, all that customization, like going through the arena. I've had a really fun time with that. So this seems to be kind of a similar thing, maybe a little more arcadey. Don't quote me on that, but I think that there's a lot of customization in this as well. So that's something I'm really looking forward to. Again, this was like $10, I think, and I was like, you know, I'm just gonna grab that. So I picked it up. Alright, so next, I've been a collector of homebrews for the Dreamcast. You guys know how much I like the Dreamcast. I don't know that I'm like utterly committed to the homebrew scene for the Dreamcast, but I think it's probably the most exciting homebrew scene for any, you know, old console for me personally. And I picked up Genocider. I realized, you know what? Fear of missing out before this is gone and there's no chance for me to get this. Let's get this. Now is the time. This came out, I don't know when, a handful of months ago. The really exciting thing about this game is that it's actually 3D. Most Dreamcast, I think pretty much all Dreamcast homebrews are all 2D games. The reason that I've heard for that is because people haven't really known how to tap into the Dreamcast 3D hardware. Apparently that puzzle has been cracked because this is a 3D game. Completely sort of, you know, homebrew developed for the Dreamcast. I don't know if they were using some kind of Dreamcast dev kit or something like that, but however this was done, it's very impressive, and it also seems like a pretty fun game. Kind of, the gameplay reminds me of, I think, Blast and Charge and Blast, something like that. And anyway, I realized, I'm like, I want to get this, right? It wasn't super expensive, you know, $30-40, something like that. The homebrews, you know, aren't ridiculously priced. So I picked that up. I also grabbed Valhalla Knights for the PSP. This is a localized version from Xseed. But these games, as far as I know, you know, are super fun. I really enjoyed the third one at any rate, and I always liked the looks of the one for the Wii. When I realized that there were 2 PSP games and I didn't have them, I was like, you know, I really should have them. Mechanically, I think they're quite sound. Like, the gameplay in Valhalla Knights 3 was super good. They are also, like, just cheesy, right? Like, they're not, I don't know. They're just that perfect, like, not, you know, top shelf, best game in the world kind of thing, but, like, very fun, very, like, you know, sort of sound gameplay, like, decent, like, interesting worlds. I just really love these games, so I wanted to get Valhalla Knights 1. On the PSP. And now we get into my PlayStation 4 stuff. Like I said, I was a little more focused with this, and my goal price point, I would say, is about $20 for like an affordable game on the PlayStation 4. Certainly I got some deals, and I don't mind buying things cheaper than that. Again, these games are worth more than that, and I would encourage people to buy games at full price that you like, or try to support the people developing these. This is just discounted stuff. Puyo Puyo Tetris 2. I've not gotten Puyo Puyo Tetris 1, but when I started thinking about it, I saw this on the shelf, $20 new at GameStop, and I was like, yeah, please, Puyo Puyo's fun, Tetris is fun, so I'm really excited to check this out. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. That's something, like I said, I got new. Ni no Kuni 1. This is the remaster. I had picked up Ni no Kuni 2 in that $10 games deal that I talked about in my previous video. So I just had that on the brain, and I saw this. This was $20 also, and I was like, let me get this on the PlayStation 4. I feel really silly getting it because I have it on the PlayStation 3, but I want to say platform matters, right? There's really is something to be said for the platform that you're playing games on that's kind of hooked up to your TV. Again, there's like a little bit of a collection thing there too, where I have the second one. It just feels more complete to have the first one as well on the same system. Root Film. Now, I have not gotten Root Letter. I think that's one of those things I'd already had intended to get and just was letting it slip through the cracks. I'm probably going to go back and see if I can, what is involved in getting a copy of Root Letter, what platform I want to get it for. Does this even have anything to do with Root Letter? I have no idea. None. I just saw this on the shelf, and it seems like, again, I guess when we're talking about, the things I would sort of like to, support, I guess, Kadokawa Games, P-Cube, I don't know, I feel like I heard some shady things about P-Cube, but they're publishing stuff that I'd like to see published here. This was $50 at GameStop. So this is not one of those, like, I got this game super cheaply. It was new. I did have a coupon because I'd gotten a whole bunch of other stuff, so I got $5 off. $45 to me, I felt like it was worth getting this. It just seems like a, a narrative adventure, Japanese-style adventure game. Mystery that seemed pretty interesting. Unravel a 10-year-old mystery lost on 35mm film. I'm not expecting this to be really like horror focused, but I guess we'll see. It does certainly look a little kind of like dark suspense thing, and I'm just, I like these kind of games. I'm really glad that they're coming out, and I want to check this one out. So I did manage to go to some different stores too that aren't in where I normally travel, right? I had an optometrist appointment because I don't know if you can see my glasses are like supported by some tape here. They're in some rough shape, so I'm getting some new glasses. They're available today. I just haven't gone up and gotten them. I'm honestly feeling a little under the weather, so I'm trying to just chill out at home. But Digimon. What is this? Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth Hacker's Memory. You guys remember my last video? They given me the wrong disc for this. Because I was able to go to a different GameStop, it hadn't been all that long since they'd screwed up that game. They did have a disc copy of this, and they were able to just exchange that for me for the disc that I was given incorrectly for this game. So I now have this. I do not have its prequel. I will be on the hunt for that, because I think I would like to try to play it in order. It does seem like there is a narrative that is, connected. So I would kind of like to get that too. But again, if this was $10 and I was able to get the appropriate disc for it, I wanted to do that. While I was there, I found 3 games. These are, I think, the last of my pickups that I was quite interested in. These were all on my list, so to speak. But yeah, so I have New Gundam Breaker. This was kind of a unsure, on my list. It wasn't like a must-buy. It was kind of like a, hey, maybe this is interesting. The main selling point for this for me was $10 at GameStop. So again, that's really a price point where it's you can just justify trying something out. I feel like, I'm not saying $10 is worthless, but man, it's affordable. So The main thing with this is it sounds like the Gundam Breaker series is actually really good and well regarded. From what I can tell, it's kind of based on like the Gundam models, right? They call them, what is it, Gunpla. From what I can tell, it's kind of like action games where you're customizing mechs, but you're kind of customizing them as if they were like the plastic Gundam models that you build. That's the impression that I get from it. It seems right up my alley, right? Like I was talking about with the sort of the mech game customizations. I don't feel like I'm a huge mech fan, but I'm kind of a casual fan, and I do like that kind of customization gameplay. Long story short, what people seem to say is that the main series of this is like the best, right? You've got like, I don't know, Gundam Breaker 1, Gundam Breaker 2, Gundam Breaker 3, and stuff like that. This new Gundam Breaker, people seem to be like, man, this sucks, right? It's like, I don't know, like fans seem to feel like this kind of took away things that they liked about the kind of the main series and like added stuff they didn't like and just maybe isn't quite as good. I don't know. It was $10. I'm gonna check it out. Metal Wolf Chaos. This is a game I've talked about in my Japanese Xbox 360 collection video. This has been something that's been on my radar for years and years, just because it's kind of like one of those From Software mech games that came out exclusively for the Xbox 360 in Japan. So that was one thing. And it also just seemed kind of over the top, right? I guess Devolver published it here on the PlayStation 4, and I've honestly, like, resisted getting this. Literally, I think it was $14, right? 15 bucks, something like that. It was, I got it. I'm like, yes, please. At the very least, I can check this out, I can play it, and I might just not get it for the 360, right? I don't have to have that in my Japanese Xbox 360 collection. We'll see. We'll see what I feel about that, but I think that's a cool pickup. Finally, here we have, this was like the find of the week, I guess. So Robotics Notes Elite and then Robotics Notes Dash, I guess. What's super cool about this, though, is apparently, like, it's not just the game, but it's like a set of pins, I think. So it's in a phone droid box, which I assume is like a device from the series, so I think it's just, it's mocked up to look like, whatever their cell phones that they use or something like that. And then it has pins in it, I believe. So it says, 4 exclusive Day 1 edition pins. It's got Kaito and Akiho from the Robot Club, with their robot, Tanagashi Machine 3, and then it also has Daru from Steins Gate, and apparently he appears in Robotics Notes Dash. So, this does tell you this is part of the, the, like, sci-fi adventure series from, like, Mages / 5PB. So it kind of takes place in the same universe as Steins Gate, Robotics Notes, and Chaos Child, which I do want. I have seen the anime for Robotics Notes, not great. I was kind of like, eh. I have really wanted to play the games, though, because I feel like maybe this story just works better as an adventure game, right? So I've really wanted to get that. This was $20. I don't know, man. I saw this on the shelf, and it was like $20 new at GameStop, and I was just like, okay, find of I don't know, find of the year. It was pretty great. So, I do want to talk a little bit more, too, about, collecting for the PlayStation 4 right now. It sometimes is hard to even tell what's been released physically, where it's been released, where it's available. You have all these different storefronts, you have all these different publishers. Not everything is getting, kind of like wide releases and is available at retailers like GameStop and Best Buy and Walmart and things like that. Some things are, there are limited run games and super limited games and East Asia Soft, and you have stuff like Nicalis, and it's just even just publishers that will have their own online storefronts, like Nipponichi and Idea Factory and things like that. Like, as I've been doing research, I've been finding games maybe on those storefronts that I do not see at GameStop or Best Buy. I've been finding games that it's actually been really hard for me to tell if they actually had an official release in the West or not, and sometimes I'm finding that they did. They're just they're not widely available, right? So you know, I'm finding collecting for the PlayStation 4 is weird, and that's maybe one of the reasons why I'm not going to do any like 8th gen collection voodoo videos or anything like that. I do not have the, you know, kind of money or drive to certainly have been collecting from a lot of these like limited quantity, you know, places and stuff like that. But I am enjoying, as you can see, doing a little online shopping, doing a little in-person shopping, and just collecting some PS4 games here while the getting is good. I've spent probably the cost of buying a PlayStation 5 here on PlayStation 4 games, but I think that's actually the right way to do it. I can't justify getting a PlayStation 5 right now. I don't even know if one's available, but you know, putting that into PS4 games right now is absolutely the most bang for the buck that I'm going to get, and you know, I'm going to have games to play for years to come here. So hope that was fun. Take care, guys.